Alrighty, so we are back, and today we have some fun little information for you. We were kind of wondering what's next after the banners and stuff like that from the Dokkan live stream that we did on the 23rd, the banner day. They did confirm that we had some Super EZAs as well as EZAs on the way. So Dokkan decided to give us 4 in this batch of tweets here, and we have 4 that we need to go over today. Now, it's kind of a tough spot right now because, as you guys know, you can kind of see if you look on the right side of the screen, people don't look very happy with what we can see from the kits of these characters. Now, what I'm here to do today, is to talk about what I think of the characters, break them down for you, give you the information, and sort of move from there and answer the question, are they frauds, did they suck, or is GT all the way back, right? We'll answer that question a little bit more as we get into the video. But again, this is sort of the initiative I wanted to take during GDC, where even if the videos don't go absolutely nuclear, we want to at least talk about these characters and stuff, so I have as much information to relay to you guys as possible and give you the best answers and stuff when it comes to questions like this. So with that being said, if you guys find yourself enjoying today's video and you are excited for these EZAs and Super EZAs, let me know down below. Leave a like if you do enjoy, and let's go ahead and get started. So STR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, sort of the premier character from this batch, the one that everybody I'm sure is the most excited for. Doesn't really take rocket science to figure that one out, that people are going to be the most excited for this character. So what do we have here with our boy Goku? Well, to get started, here is the kit. So we'll open this up and make it a little bit bigger so it's easier to read for you guys. This is what we got going on. At the start of the turn, we have Ki +2, an attack and defense plus 200%, and a great chance of performing a critical hit. So if you guys don't know, a great chance is a 70%. So it's going to be pretty good for the hidden potential. I don't think you're really going to need to be focusing very much on crit, just based on this alone right here. Now, per superclass ally attacking in the same turn, we are going to be getting attack and defense plus 100%, then also a damage reduction rate of 10%. So I believe that means it's either 20% or 30% if they are including themselves. The wording on that one is always tricky. I believe that's at the maximum 30%, and I'm sure it's in the replies over here as well. Yeah, so they do count over here with 30% damage reduction only. Definitely not what we are looking for in today's day and age, where the damage reduction numbers have definitely cranked up a little bit closer to 60 or 70 to be relevant, where 30% here is not going to be exactly what we are looking for. But when there's an extreme class enemy, or when there is another GT Heroes category ally attacking in the same turn, this is very easy. All allies get an attack plus 40%, and they do get a guaranteed additional, which again has a great chance of becoming a critical hit here. So again, not going to need to focus too much on crit as well as additional here. So that's always nice. I think additional and dodge is probably how I would build this character. Then when we are attacking with 12 or more ki, which should be pretty consistent, we're going to get some extra defense or attack right here. And then when we receive an attack in slot 2, which is where we're definitely going to be putting this guy, his damage reduction is nowhere near enough what we need. He's going to be getting an additional 200% defense. And if he gets a super attack thrown at him, he gets 100% defense temporarily alongside this right here. And we have a high chance of nullifying it and countering with tremendous power. So very simple kit here, not too much to dive into. Makes perfect sense. Just a stat guy, right? That's really all it is. 30% damage reduction and high stats. And the only real tech that this character has is a little bit of extra attack support, which definitely helps. Then a 50% chance to counter super attacks. But what is nice about this in specific is it's a 50% chance. So you're going to be seeing it about half the time, right? It's because it's funny how, it's like, obviously, I'm kind of being facetious, but, people love to say it's like, oh, this is a 70% chance. It feels more like 30. Well, it's like, you get super 4 times, more than likely you're going to counter it twice, right? And sometimes you get lucky and you string it together a few times in a row and it feels pretty consistent. So we'll see. Right? Not the worst thing in the world to have a super counter, because it's not limited to Ki Blast. It's not limited to unarmed or anything like that. So this should be a decent GT Heroes character. With the current state of GT Heroes, this is certainly not exactly what we were looking for. We definitely needed a bit more power, I think, here in order to really kind of flesh this team out. But it isn't the worst thing I've ever seen, right? Because we have this right here, and I say this isn't the worst thing we've ever seen because we have somebody else to talk about. But you know, looking at how bare bones this category is, now we're really banking on some of these other EZAs being good, as well as this Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta getting an EZA in the first place. And not only do we need to get the EZA in the first place, we also need him to be good. So we're really starting to become a little bit hard pressed to have good GT hero characters. So yeah, I don't know if this is enough. I don't want to be like overly negative. I do think that especially if you are a newer player, or this is somebody that you preemptively purchased with your global Dokkan stones, right? Although we did advise that you don't pick them up right away because of a situation like this. You might be able to get something out of this character, but I'm not really sure right now. So that's what we're looking at right now with Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think he could be okay, but again, I definitely think they should have given him a little bit more. But next, our boy. This one's fun. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, right? It doesn't look good. So if we go into here, you are going to notice that this is basically the same thing, right? The same kit. Except it's just like 30% damage reduction right here. We're giving defensive support, and the attack is only going up like just like this, right? You want to put him in slot 2 or slot 3, which is fine, but I'm not sure. I don't think this is enough here. I guess the super attack effect is important. Do they show it here? This is a super EZA, so the effect doesn't change. I think that says, so if we kind of zoom in here, right? It says greatly raises defense for 1 turn. Yeah, so we're not really getting that many ways to raise our defense, and we're only getting that 30% damage reduction. And just looking at the stats and the calcs on these guys is definitely indicative of like just not a great character. Now, again, it's these kits are extremely similar, right? But the problem is, I just don't think Vegeta is getting enough. 100%, so 200% defense right here total at the max that they can get, but ignoring the start of turn stuff. I just don't think that this character is going to have enough, but the defensive 40 support isn't horrible, considering that Gogeta 4 is also giving that 70% defensive support for 4 turns. On the GT Hero setup, they should be fine, but again, I don't think that this character is really going to be holding it down for you. Considering how few Super Saiyan 4 Vegetas we have in the game, this is definitely like, or good Super Saiyan 4 Vegetas we have in the game, which is really like none right now, because the GT duo has tapered off here a little bit. Like, they're no good right now. Limited time buffs, they're okay, right? And then it's like, them what? Them what? Nothing, right? It's these two. So I'm not really too sure. I'm not too hot on this one. Again, we have to kind of see 30% damage reduction. You're going to need some wicked stats to really get around 30% damage reduction. And I don't know if either of these characters are going to have that. So to me, it really just kind of comes down to like, what are we expecting from these characters? Are we expecting like okay? Are we expecting terrible? Are we expecting just all right? Right? Those are all of kind of the different things that we need to know. But if you are a newer player or something like that, and you are just looking to fill out a team, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but they certainly could have been better. So that's how the Super Saiyan 4s are looking. Let's go ahead and move on to Omega. Now with Omega Shenron, let's see what else. Everyone is just saying they suck, right? So if we go in here, we've got debuffs for superclass enemies, and then attack support right here with full power and GT bosses. So 60% attack support, damage reduction rate of 20, attack and defense plus, yeah, they suck. There's 20% damage reduction. That's it. Oh, per. Chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction rate. So in the same turn, so at max, they're going to have 40% damage reduction. Okay. It's higher than those other guys, and they're debuffing the enemy, which is still always nice, and then they're giving 60% support. The issue with this character to me is that he shares the same name with the LR Omega Shenron. And you guys know, if you run into that situation, things could get a bit dicey, if you will, right? Don't know if I love that. And only having they're permanently locked to slot 3, right? Like there's no other way that you could really use this character, because he needs to link up with somebody and he cannot link up with the physical LR. So you find yourself in this situation where this character is here and he doesn't look great, right? It's something. Now, remember one thing that we always have to sort of keep in mind with these characters is you have to see them in game, but there's also the other side of the coin where it's like you can do the math and know something isn't enough, right? Like when you see 30% damage reduction, that's not good, right? That is certainly not what we're looking for. You see 40% damage reduction with no other defensive gimmicks, that's not good. A lot of enemies and bosses are immune to this last effect, so, or excuse me, as long as you're in the third attack, you're a third attacker, you're going to be fine. But in theory, maybe he gets locked in slot 2, which is definitely possible in these new fights, they have to be able to be debuffed. And a lot of the times you cannot debuff with some of these newer bosses. So you run into a situation where this guy has to be in slot 3. He's giving that support. It looks very nice. And then you also have the Omega Shenron damage reduction that's coming in from support. So essentially what they're telling you is pull Omega Shenron or you're not going to have fun with this character. Right? That's sort of what I'm getting from this. And that's fine if that's how you want to design the character, but not really my cup of tea in terms of how I'd want to design this character. I don't think that there is nearly enough here to really warrant, this GDC level tier of Super EZA, especially when you compare them to what we saw over in part 1 with Super EZA Rose Goku Black and Physical Vegito Blue. So don't really like what I'm seeing here. If we go to GT bosses, we can pull up this bad boy over here. It's like this team still isn't a team. We have you with limited time buffs. We have you. That's 4, and then 3 of the characters would be named Omega Shenron, and we still have to wait for Sin Shenron to get his EZA. We'll be talking about that in a moment here. And then we've also got another character named Omega. So we already have 3 Omega Shenrons on this team. So I really don't like that design. Because again, if you just open up, like there's going to be situations where you load the fight up and your opening rotation is him, and him, right? The 3 Omegas all on one rotation. So you're automatically resetting because you have 0 links on that rotation. And I'm sure, as you guys know, link skills are pretty important. If we pull up Physical Omega and we look at his link skills, right? What are we getting if we have him linked up with the Shadow Dragons? We'll do for Legendary Power. This is 85% attack, 4 key, and 55% defense that this character is missing out on because they don't have any links, right? So it's a pretty big deal. You have to make sure in this day and age that you have links. And when you are looking at something like this, where you only have when you have like 3 or 4 of the same name character, it just doesn't work. Like Omega Shenron and the GT Bosses team is like the sole biggest case for we need to let characters link despite sharing the same name, right? I think we are to that point where it's 2025 and we've been talking about this for a long time. Like, why don't we just let players play the way that they want to play, right? What does it matter for us or for the devs if I want to link this Omega Shenron with this Omega Shenron? I would be more inclined to summon if I know I have a Rainbow AGL Omega Shenron. I would be more inclined to summon for Physical Omega because I'd like to see how good this Omega could be next to him, right? And if they could share all 7 links or whatever they may have, right? And they would be like one of the best rotations in the game, why wouldn't I want to do that, right? It's looking like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta might get his EZA very soon. Don't you think I'd want to link him with this guy, right? So that way we can get something out of them. And if a character is forcibly locked into slot 2 or slot 1, we can potentially move characters to the places where we need to move them. It's just a bit silly, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at with this. So Omega Shenron, I'm not too sure at this point, but let's move on to the last thing that we need to talk about today. And that is going to be an actual EZA and not a Super EZA. And the rumor is that this guy is going to be good, right? So if we pull this up right here, I will tell you right off the bat on the Physical Omega Shenron setup, he's going to have 90% damage reduction on the first turn. So we'll come back to the super attack effects here in a moment. I'm more focused on this stuff over here. Now, when it comes to the passive, we have, starting right off the bat, basic effects at the start of turn, randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres, so a rainbow orb changer, very nice. Key attack and defense, 150% at the start of turn, key 2. Then a high chance of performing a critical hit, 50%. High chance of launching an additional super attack, 50%. So probably you want to go full dodge, full additional dodge with this guy, more than likely. Now, on the first turn, we're going to have 40% damage reduction. And we're also going to be disabling the enemy's guard, and getting extra attack and defense per key sphere obtained. So if we get up to 7, we're going to have an extra attack and defense of 350%. If we get 2 key spheres, we're going to have damage reduction rate of 20%. So on the first turn, that's going to be 60. And then if we go over here, we get 3, we're going to get extra crit. If we get 4, our damage reduction is going to be up to 80%. And then on top of the Omega Shenron, we're going to be up to 90%. Then if we get 5, we're going to have a 50% chance to crit on top of this over here. And then if we get 6, we're going to get a guaranteed additional super attack. And then if we get 7, the attacked enemy's attack and defense is going to go down for 2 turns. So very orb reliant, but I think with him being orb reliant, this guy's going to be in slot 2 a lot of the time, considering the amount of Omega Shenrons that are going to be on the team. So I think he could work out pretty well for GT bosses, all things considered. And if we go over here to his super attack effects, I keep thinking I'm on the tweet, they are now going to be changed to greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes supreme damage. So nothing too crazy, but we have a lot of attack and defensive raising, and then some other effects here with damage reduction. Again, I think he's going to work pretty seamlessly over on the Omega Shenron team, and that is how things are going to go. So let me know down below what you guys think of these super EZAs. I'm not super wowed by them. I think honestly they might all be frauds except for this guy and Sin. Sin and Super Saiyan 4 Goku definitely look like the best of the bunch. These guys over here, like, you know, saying bad or they're ass or whatever, Goku's calcs are pretty impressive. Like, he's in the multiple million defensive range with damage reduction and a chance to counter supers. So this idea that he's like completely dead in the water, I definitely don't agree with, but I think they should have been a little bit better on paper. So again, let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Are you excited for these characters? Do you have any of them? Did you pick them up with the Global Dokkan Stone or anything like that? But that's all I got for you in this one. Let me know down below what you guys think. And if you did enjoy this one, don't forget to leave a like before you go. Subscribe if you're new so that way you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.